Well, the story was that Mr. Menendez had a big deal that had gone through, and he was going to go shark fishing. And this was basically like kind of a primer on shark fishing, so I could teach him a little about it. I haven't talked about this since it happened.
I remember the drive down to the marina. There was complete silence the entire way there. I swear to God, it felt like I was being driven to my grave. I remember seeing the boats and feeling this dread. You know, a part of me just wanted to run. The idea of being alone on the ocean with nobody around, I was nervous and paranoid for a good reason. Everything that Mom and Dad had told me had programmed into my head that I was in grave danger if I ever told Lyle. All of my life had come true.
As they came to the boat and we set sail off the dock, the boys moved up to the bow of the boat, and the parents basically went down inside the boat into the back. It was a weird vibe just all around.
My mom was upset that there were more people on the boat than she anticipated. I guess she had only expected the boat captain to be there. And I remember thinking, why should she care? Nothing about that trip made sense. And in context with everything else that was going on, the crisis that was happening in the family, we shouldn't have been out there. Remember, a lot of waves, and the waves would crash over the boat, and the water was cold.
We actually took a wake over the bow, and it got the boys soaked. And the boys just sat there. They didn't bother going back to get a towel or anything to go warm up with, and they sat out there in the cold breeze, basically, almost, the whole trip.
There was no fishing at all that I remember now. I mean, that was the whole reason we were there, but there wasn't any fishing going on. And so it was like there was this pretense. We were there for one reason, but we were there really for a whole nother reason.
Basically, the deckhand and I did everything. None of the four came back. They really kind of acted like they didn't want to have any part of it. The family, they were estranged almost the whole time.
The boat ride just seemed endless. And I remember just being up there afraid. And so I just huddled up in front of the boat. My brother had a lot of questions. We talked about everything that had been happening, why I had gone through this and not told him. I think Lyle felt really horrible that he had suspected that this was happening because it had happened to him. And I was trying to convince Lyle that, there was nothing he could have done, that this wasn't his fault. And to this day, I wonder what was supposed to happen that night. Later that night, my dad was pounding on my door, telling me to open up the door in my bedroom. I remember holding the gun, sitting on my bed, waiting to see if he was going to break down the door. I remember this terror coursing through me that this was it. It was all going to happen now. For the first time, I was going to confront my dad, not back down. And so the idea was just paralyzing. In my mind, it didn't even matter that I was holding this gun. I felt like as soon as Dad broke through that door, I was going to die. But I didn't care, because I was never going to let Dad come in my room and do that again.